What is going on, guys? I have this PlayStation 5 controller I just got, and from the description it said that one of these triggers are not working. So we're gonna try to see if we could fix this. So first we're gonna hook this up to the gamepad tester. Some of you guys will have one of these triggers not working. This is very crucial if you're playing FPS games, because these two triggers are usually for the aim and the shooting. So if one of these break, then your controller is not usable. But we might have a possibility to fix it, and I'm going to dive in here and see if I can do that. So I'll just make a little mark on the trigger that's not working. And looking from the back of this controller, I believe this is a BDM030. So if you have your lettering like this, it's a BDM030. And if your lettering looks something like this is most likely a BDM040. And the difference we could tell is that on this one, the letterings are much longer. And there's also another variation like this. If your back of your controller is like this is most likely a BDM020. And the difference you could tell is right here at the end, you see it has this little logo, and here this has this trash. So that's just good to know when you're doing these repairs, to see what generation controller you have, because some of the mechanisms for the triggers and the layout of the motherboard can be different depending on the type of controller you have. So currently there is 5 different generations of controllers, BDM010, and it goes up to 050. And to open the controller, we're just going to take off this trim. We have 1, 2 screws here, and if we take those triggers off, we have 2 more screws. So we're going to unscrew these 4 screws real quick. Now there's 2 clips right here. We're just going to pull them out, and now we could peel apart the controller. Okay, so just to move some of this stuff out. Oh, well, it looks like this controller has been taken apart. Someone put that battery in there. Piece of tape in here on the battery to hold that battery in place. So it looks like there's been some work done on this controller. Let's take this part out. Okay. Now we're going to take this out. Let's just make sure everything's intact here. So I just took out those cables. Now we're gonna just take this apart and see what's going on there with this trigger. So I want to get to that flux cable. So I want to open the rest of this up here. Okay, now we're going to take off this membrane. And this should be the sensor for the buttons. Now I have something like this. It's an electronic contact cleaner. So what I want to do is I want to spray it on here. Now we see these wires are loose. They're pretty tight here. I think this should be alright. If we check this trigger, it has that little sticking out here, and that makes contact with this membrane, and it pushes the button to register it. So that's why we cleaned it out, because maybe it wasn't making the good contact. So let's try to put this together and see if that changes anything. Now I made a video on how to disassemble the BDM030 controller, so if you guys need more help on how to do that, I'll leave the link in the description. We just want to tighten everything back up how it was, so all the connections are secure. Here we go. I'm gonna put this here. So the left one is still not working. Okay, let's just test something out here real quick. I see what the problem is. This little piece here that holds the spring, it looked like it cracked before, and the previous owner tried to glue it on, and it was here. It glued on here, so the friction from the spring was not strong enough. So when you would push the trigger, it would not make a full contact. It would just barely touch it. So as you can see on this controller, this part is here with the spring, and on this controller it's missing. So what they did was they tried to super glue this part back here and put the spring there, but the spring was just not making that perfect connection for it to push down, so it wasn't pushing down. So we're just going to use this controller here, and I'm going to take this motherboard and put it in here. Solder these wires back here on this board. Now that this board is connected to this purple controller with its own trigger, I think we should have this figured out now and working. Let's just put everything back and we'll give it a nice test. Okay, so here we go. These triggers are working, so that was the fix. You know, buying these controllers, I wish it was a little bit easier, but when you have a cosmetic problem like this, broke off, it's really not fixable. As you saw, the guy tries to fix it, it didn't. So luckily I had a spare that I could swap the parts and get this controller working.